Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline, and we got a lot of little things to talk about this episode. It's been the end of the Summer League, and there's been a lot of fun and excitement with the Summer League, and those games were actually a lot more fun than I think some people had expected. And there's also Team USA is now practicing with their exhibition game coming up soon, as well as a little bit more going on with free agency. There's a few key players that have yet to sign and been, finalized on a team. Even though there has been a lot of other excitement going on with other players, we forget that there are some still good players that have yet to sign either again with their respective teams or to a new team. So we have a lot of little things to talk about today, which is going to be a lot of fun. Basketball has been just one of those things where you can play it anywhere, you can go. It always cracks me up when I see little kids playing basketball and how excited that they get about it. And I think I'm thinking about this because today is my nephew's birthday and we're going to be celebrating his birthday today. He's going to be turning 9. And it's funny because I had shared in one of the previous episodes, I think the last episode, is that I got to go watch 2 of the Summer League games last weekend. So, which was a lot of fun. And one of my friends plays for one of the teams. And so I was able to get something that I wanted, just to remember the experience and this fun and exciting time for him, as well as something to just, remember my first time going to the Summer League. That's really the only reason why I went, is because, because my friend was playing and I wanted to see his debut and things like that. But otherwise, I probably would have just did my normal thing, watching the games at home. So I have this little token of, just this memory, something to remember this from. And so my nephew loves the team that my friend plays for, and I know that he would love this item because it's from my friend and it's from the team and it's like one of those official things, but I'm being really selfish. I don't want to give it to him. And I love my nephew. He knows that I love him. And I usually do give him things, when I was in college and we would get things for the basketball team. I would always give him little things, backpacks, socks, all these little fun, t-shirts, towels, anything that I thought that he would just enjoy just because he's my nephew and I know that he just loves basketball. But I do not want to share this with him. And it's kind of like one of those things where I'm actually really surprised in myself. I don't really feel bad about it. I was talking to my mom about it and I shared with her that I kind of want to give it to him. I wish I had 2, but I think he's just going to have to miss out on this one and I'm just going to keep it for myself. I guess what he doesn't know won't hurt him in this case. I'll get him something different, but it's just one of those things that I think it's so cute that he's been on my mind, and his little teammates, when they play, they have their little Summer League games that their little competition games that they're playing. And it's so cute to me with their little LeBron James and Steph Curry shoes and how he just literally transforms into these guys head to toe with what he wears. And so luckily right now he's trying out for football, little junior peewees. So maybe I should get him something football related and just get his mind off the fact that it's basketball. So that's going to be what I'm going to do today. But other than that, so let's just dive into this. So Denzel Valentine is one of my favorite players that's coming in, you know, with one of my favorite rookies right now, because I did have a chance to see him play at the beginning of last season in a tournament. And so I really liked him. I liked his style of play. I like how he plays. I think that he really disappointed me, of course. We all know what happened in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament. And so I actually, of course, had him going all the way and winning the entire thing. Yes, I did. And if you have been listening to any of the previous episodes, especially when I was talking about the NBA finals, you know that I am terrible at my predictions. I always predict something and literally everything goes opposite. So unfortunately for him, I had predicted them going all the way and they did not go all the way. They barely went anywhere, which, you know, it happens like that, but he's recovered. I feel like, you know, that is very disappointing because especially you want your last time to be, you know, your last go around to end on a high note. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants their last whatever to just end at the top and things like that. But anyways, so Denzel Valentine, he has been drafted and, right now he's with the Bulls, which is great. And they were, so with the Summer League, they had their tournament this last week. They play, it's just tournament style. So just the usual, you know, you play up into a championship game. And so it was the Timberwolves and the Bulls, which was pretty great. And Denzel, he didn't have that great of a time during that game. You know, he wasn't fantastic, but he wasn't terrible because thanks to him being, you know, clutch and having those clutch shots, he actually hit two, you know, big shots at the end. One, of course, to win the game, which was a lot of fun. So the Bulls beat the Timberwolves 84-82 in overtime, which was a lot of fun. And if you've missed it, if you go to our Twitter page at GSMC_basketball, you can definitely see that. I did repost that. I retweeted, the clip of him hitting that game winner, and which was a lot of fun. And it's one of those things that he's proving himself. And that's what I think a lot of these guys in the Summer League had to do, is that a lot of them, clearly these coaches and these organizations are believing in them. Some of them were signed as free agents just to the Summer League. Others, you know, were drafted to the teams in the first and second rounds. And this is an opportunity for them. And especially guys like him and Ben, who did not get into the postseason with the NCAA tournament. It gives them a chance to prove to these organizations and to prove to their coaching staffs what they can do and showcase their abilities and showcase what it is that they bring to the table and how they fit. And so I was really excited for him. I'm glad that he was able to, you know, make that shot and to show that when it comes down to it and he needs, you know, a team needs to depend on him, that he's able to follow through and he's able to produce. So I thought that was great. Like I said, they did beat the Timberwolves. However, for the Timberwolves, Tyus Jones, he was named the Summer League MVP. He averaged 19 points and 6 assists. So he had a very solid and consistent Summer League in those games. He led the Timberwolves to 4 consecutive wins. So that is something that is really good. And that's, I mean, it's nice to win championships, even in the Summer League. It's nice to do that as well. But it's really more of just showcasing your abilities and showcasing what it is that you bring to the table as a young player, as a rookie, as a, you know, sophomore. You know, D'Angelo Russell is another sophomore that I think did really, really well this Summer League and is proving now, especially in his organization, where there is room for there to be a new leader, that they need somebody, you know, with Kobe stepping down and retiring, they're looking for someone to take that mantle. And so again, this is another time for these guys to showcase what they can do. And, you know, D'Angelo Russell, I think he did great. And now they're looking at him and Ingram, trying to figure out how that they both can lead this franchise forward. Even though they are kind of young, that's okay. It's not a problem, because they're showing that how, even though that they are young, they are here and that they're ready to lead, that they can take that responsibility. So I think that's the most fun about the Summer League, is having the ability to showcase your talents, not only to the staff that you're under, but also to other coaching staffs, especially if you're a free agent and you're just signed for the summer. Then this is a time that you can showcase your abilities to others, to other potential places that you can land and end up. So that's one thing that I just love about Summer League. And plus, it's fun as far as, basketball doesn't have to stop. We're able to see some of these guys continue to play. It gives us more games to watch. It gives us more stuff to do. It gives us fans something to look forward to. And so that's one thing that I really enjoy about the Summer League. And it was a lot of fun. I think that it was because I had spoken to some people here in this office who were saying like, Summer League, why would you go unless you were, because when I was discussing, and getting excited that I was going to go and everything, they were saying, it's mostly if it's just like their parents and things like that, not really, you don't really go to it. But this year for the Vegas Summer League, I think it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. There was a lot of fans there. There were a lot of just basketball fans, not necessarily for those teams, but it's a fun time to see a lot of these first draft and first round picks, some of your favorite sophomores as well. They had a really good time. And so it was exciting. There was a lot of game winners and like buzzer beaters, which I think was great. That just adds to the excitement and everything. So we're actually going to cut it to a break real quickly. And when we come back, I have to tell you guys about the NBA and Twitter's partnership, as well as talk about some of these free agents that are still waiting to get signed as of right now, and Team USA. So keep it right here. You're listening to the GSMC Basketball Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch, whatever it may be.
Hey, what's up, everyone? You're back here at the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline. Of course, as you know, I've been mentioning that we have a Twitter. And so you can follow us. You can talk to me at GSMC_basketball because I've been tweeting a lot, and Twitter is a fun way to get fun things quickly and to get a lot of information. There's a lot of times when I'm on Twitter and I need quick information and I'm trying to figure out what things are up to date. And so I'm able to get it fast and quickly. And a lot of times if something's happening with a big time player, like there's an announcement, that's how I found out about, Kevin Durant and his move in free agency was through Twitter. And so it's a lot of fun. So like I said, at GSMC_basketball, I've been on Twitter a lot lately. There's been a lot going on. And it was just announced, and I found this out, of course, through Twitter, that the NBA and Twitter have a partnership. And so because the NBA as an organization has recognized how quickly information spreads on Twitter, it also recognizes how much interaction happens between fans and their favorite players, as well as fans and organizations, and just interactions amongst one another on Twitter. And so the NBA has actually started to take advantage of that and started to realize that we as fans like Twitter and we like basketball on Twitter. So the NBA and Twitter, like I said, have begun to expand their partnership. So they have announced that there will be an exclusive streaming live show on Twitter, as well as a pregame show on Twitter that will be exclusive just to Twitter through the NBA, and as well as on Vine and Periscope as well, because that's kind of part of that partnership through Twitter, where there will actually be a exclusive, one of a kind show that will be discussing, upcoming games. We're going to have quite Q&As with players. There's going to be post-game, pre-game interviews. There's going to be a lot of just like highlights and things that will be exclusive to Twitter that are not going to be on TV. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to see how that's going to start up with this new season starting up. I'm not quite sure if they'll have anything as far as ready and in the works for the Olympic Games. I think it's going to be once regular season starts for the NBA for the 2016-17 season. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think the NBA is, as far as a sports organization, sports league, has the most followers on Twitter out of all the other professional sports. So that's going to be really exciting. They already have a massive following. I am on Twitter all the time when I'm watching games because I'm seeing other people's reactions. I'm tweeting about things. I'm reposting things. I'm trying to figure out what's happening when I'm not watching the games. Like if I'm at work, if I'm on the go, whatever I am, I'm logging onto Twitter because it's quick and it's fast information. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to be and see how much more NBA can just get thrown at me, which is going to be a great thing. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And speaking of Twitter and speaking of all of, like I said, I found out a lot of information about the free agency and some of these dealings and trades via Twitter, because with the free agency, things are constantly changing. And that's kind of like the downside a little bit about regular TV and getting information through a telecast, is that sometimes it's a little bit late. It's a little bit behind, especially when it comes to free agency. Things are constantly changing. Phone calls are constantly being made. So by the time one reporter reports on something, it could be old. It could be changed. So Twitter, I think, is just a lot more fun to get quick information and up-to-date information when it comes to, especially free agency right now. And like I said, so free agency, there are a few players that, of course, have been causing a ruckus as far as, Kevin Durant moving, Dwayne Wade moving. They posted to Twitter their, statements because of the, free agency frenzy that started a couple weeks ago. It seems like it's kind of calmed down. However, it really hasn't. So there's a couple of free agents that are still unrestricted and still not signed to a team. So one being actually LeBron James. He right now is a free agent. He has said that he is going to sign with the Cavaliers, but he's going to do it when he's going to do it. So he's kind of he hasn't said that he's leaving. He's actually said that he's staying, but he hasn't signed anything. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. And he's going to do that and why he's kind of like just dragging it out and everything like that. But then on his team, one of his teammates, who is also one of the guys that has won a championship with him this past season, is J.R. Smith. Now, he's an unrestricted free agent and he's asking for $15 million per year. That's what he would like to work with. And that's what he is asking for. And I'm sure there's other teams that could afford him and that would be willing to take him. I wouldn't think that he would want to leave, that he would want to stay and continue on with this legacy as far as winning another championship and going to the finals again. So I really don't think that he wants to leave Cleveland, but at this time they have not have anything down and signed either. So that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if they're waiting to see what LeBron is going to do, if they can, are they going to wait to sign J.R. Smith until they sign LeBron to make sure that, as far as money is concerned, depending on how much LeBron and how expensive he's going to be. So that's going to be kind of interesting. And those are two guys that I don't think a lot of people are thinking that are free agents that aren't signed. Those are two key players that, I believe would want to stay in Cleveland and Cleveland would want them to stay there. So it's going to be interesting to see how long it's going to take and when they're going to decide to do that. Another player who is a free agent right now who could make a very good impact on a team if used correctly is Mario Chalmers. Mario last summer tore his Achilles, and which is an injury that could potentially set you back very far and even be, one of those career enders. So it's going to be interesting. He has been working through that. He's recovered and he is doing well as far as being able to play and things like that and work out. So hopefully he will also be picked up soon. He's I can see why teams would think that that's kind of like iffy, because he's been out all season and he's been nursing this injury. So it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up, if anywhere, as a free agent. And last but not least, but Jason Thompson, he is an 8-year player in the league. He has 8 seasons with the league. He's currently, this past season was with the Raptors. He's also an unsigned, unrestricted free agent. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. He has bounced around a little bit in the league these last couple of seasons. So I don't know really what kind of impact he would have on a team. He's been kind of quiet a little bit these last few seasons, so I don't know if he's really that attractive to some of these organizations right now when there's a lot of other bigs that could potentially be signed over him. So I don't know what's going to be happening with Jason. Of course, I'm trying to keep up with him a little bit just because he's a former Kings player. So I just, that's just why I brought him up because, not many people really care, which is okay, but I care. I'm interested to see where he's going to go and where he's going to land, if anywhere. So there are still a lot of free agents that are valuable that could be assets to teams that have not been signed yet. So everybody, of course, gets into a hectic frenzy. I know that through Twitter, people were counting down until free agency was open, till the market was open. They were saying, T-minus 2 hours to midnight and all of that. So it was exciting to see all of that frenzy the first few days. And then, players making some moves, Dwight going back to the Hawks, Barbosa to the Suns. So it's a lot of fun to see all these different things and hearing all about all these different negotiations and meetings that players are having with various teams. Are they going to go there? Do they care? Dwayne Wade canceling on certain teams, it's just a lot of fun. And I think that because that was 2 weeks ago now, the hype's kind of fizzled out because a lot of the big players that people were worried about and concerned about, Durant, Wade, Dwight, those players have moved. And so it's kind of okay, it's kind of the calm is moving in, but there are still a lot of free agents available that are not signed, that are in negotiations and discussing with different organizations still at this time. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this wraps up. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with J.R. Smith because they're just, I guess, in limbo right now until King James decides what King James is going to do. So we'll just be waiting on that. And we're going to take a quick break real quickly. And when we come back, I'm going to discuss about Team USA and what's going on with them because the Olympics are coming. And that's another exciting time for NBA basketball. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So keep it locked here. This is the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I'll be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. I'm Pauline, and we're kind of wrapping up the show a little bit. It's almost over. It's not over till I say it's over, but it's almost over. It's almost over. And exciting this summer. There's been a lot going on and to come actually with Team USA. The roster was of course finalized earlier last week and that has been done. And I did mention a little bit about Team USA and some other players that are in the NBA but not necessarily playing for Team USA. They're playing for their home countries, which is totally fine too, about their concerns because there were a lot of players that had mentioned that their concerns about the Zika virus as well as just concerns about resting, especially some of these guys, Stephen Curry, LeBron, just needing to rest from playing so long. But then, of course, their counterparts, Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson, are on the roster. So it's really, of course, part of it is up to the player part of it is up to just making the team depending on who else they're looking at that time. But anyways, so Team USA, they are going to be having their exhibition game coming up in a few days. I believe in July 22nd. Yes, is the first one in Vegas. So they've been practicing lately these last couple of days after the summer league and things like that. Everybody's good to go. Draymond did have that little bit of that incident where he was actually arrested for assault, but he's back and trying to, make that up to his team and trying to stay focused and just staying on the right track and just keeping in mind what his goals are, which is great. So Team USA, they're going to have their first exhibition game against Argentina in Vegas on the 22nd. And so that's going to be a lot of fun to see, because I have been hearing a lot of mixed reviews about how people have been feeling about Team USA. And of course, like I've been mentioning all this entire show, if you have like an opinion or anything, I want to hear it. So tweet me at GSMC_basketball, because I want to know what you guys think about our team this year. I know some people were disappointed that, people like Chris Paul, people like LeBron, and other guys who have played for the Olympics Team USA have opted to not play this year. So some people are kind of concerned. Other people are saying that now with, Carmelo being the veteran as far as with the Olympics and being there and having to take on that leadership role, that it's going to be interesting how that goes. So some people, I just been getting some mixed reviews. And then there's other people that are saying that, a couple of NBA players on other countries' teams can't be a fully loaded all-star team of the NBA's best of the best. And like the NBA sets the standard as far as what it means to play basketball and what basketball is. And so, all these teams, these players, because even like with the NBA draft had a lot of international players coming in. I believe it was like 14 out of the first 30 were international players. So that's almost half of the players. So the NBA still sets that standard of what basketball is supposed to look like and what players are supposed to look like. The ultimate goal is to play for an NBA team. So people are expecting Team USA, the best of our best, to take home another gold and to bring that back. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how it goes and how it pans out. I'm not going to make a prediction because my predictions are terrible. Of course, I want Team USA to bring home the gold. And according to statistics, they do. The last 6 Olympic, games, they have brought home 5 of the last 6. They brought home gold. They lost to, the one time that they didn't bring home gold was in 2004. And that was Argentina, who snuck in there and won for basketball. So it's going to be interesting because they're actually going to be playing Argentina to open up the exhibition games. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting to see how these next few weeks pan out. They're going to have exhibition games with China as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. So if you're nearby, the tickets, I think that there's still tickets on sale. So if you're nearby the Oracle, I think this week it's going to be in Vegas, these different places, you can perhaps go see Team USA before they leave at the end of the month to go to Rio. And in Rio, it's going to be, I've been reading up a lot about the Olympics and what players are doing as precautions. I did mention, I believe I shared with you guys that in a previous podcast that Pau Gasol was speaking of either not competing in this year's Olympics because it is in Brazil, or perhaps like freezing like his sperm. Like I know a lot of players are really concerned about that. Even though it's like an indoor sport, there's activities and things that these athletes are going to be doing outside. Like they're not just going to be in the gym all the time. They're not going to just go underneath, through tunnels to get to their different destinations. So they are going to be exposed to the elements, and hopefully, everything is fine. But as far as that's concerned, the players that I have decided, I know like Anthony Davis has mentioned that he really wishes that he could be a part of Team USA and competing for gold on international level. He cannot, only because of certain injuries that he is trying to nurse back to health so that he can be ready for the season. But there are players that cannot compete due to other reasons that really would still compete. I personally think that I would opt out of this year's Olympics only because of my concerns with that. But then at the same time, it's anybody's choice and to decide what they want to do. So it's still going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great to watch these games. One person I always talk about that I love, comeback stories. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love it when guys, or girls, whoever, I love it when an athlete, not that I think that you should have to suffer an injury, but I love it when athletes overcome injuries and, because nobody can plan for an injury. And there are certain injuries that really are career enders and really could potentially set you back so far that you can't play your sport and, perform your craft anymore. And one guy that's on the team this year for Team USA is Paul George. And I am so excited for him. It's been 2 years since his injury and where he actually snapped his leg. It was a horrible thing. I was watching that game and that was just horrible. It hurt me for him. And that was actually during an exhibition game with Team USA. So, it's kind of like full circle for him now to be on the team again 2 years later and to be practicing and to be doing so well despite his injury and despite what he did suffer a couple years ago. And, it's not like we haven't heard back from him since his injury. He's actually done very well this past season. He made 3rd team All-NBA, 2nd team All-Defense. So it's not like Paul George has fallen off. So it's not, he deserves to be on Team USA and to be part of that all-star package that the United States is going to be, showcasing to the world. So I'm really excited for Paul George. I'm excited to see how well he's going to do. I am just happy that this injury was not a career ender and it wasn't a career, alterer. It didn't alter his performance. It didn't alter. If anything, he's come back stronger. He's come back better. He's come back more determined. So that's a lot of fun to see. And so I'm really excited for him. And I'm excited for these next few weeks with watching how well he does with Team USA. So that's going to be it for this podcast. I did want to say, of course, before closing, the great Nate Thurmond has passed away since battling leukemia. He was a former Golden State Warrior, a legend on and off the court. He is a Hall of Famer. He did a lot of proactive things for the community. He stayed very tight-knit with the Warriors organization even after his playing days were over because he truly exemplified being a player who gave back and being a player that gave his all to not only his fans, but to his community and to his fans by giving himself back to them and through his service. So he has, like I said, passed away at the age of 74 due to leukemia. So I did not want to end without honoring him and saying a huge thank you to him and what he has given to the game. So that's going to be it for the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Pauline. You can listen to me, of course, and any of our other shows on the GSMC network at gsmcpodcast.com. You can tweet me at gsmc_basketball. You can download and listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud. You guys have a good one. Have a good weekend, and I will catch you guys back here next week when we talk more about hoops. Keep it locked. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.